Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Minecraft Season 2 finale. This is such an exciting moment. We have had an amazing season, and I'm so happy to have an amazing finale lined up as well. We have a really awesome all-star cast today. Are you guys excited? I am! Okay, so let's go ahead and introduce guests to you. You've already met them on my blog posts in the last few days and on the Facebook events group as well. But let's formally invite them to the Minecraft finale. So here we go. Meet the guests. Okay, so my first guest is the youngest paper crafter I know. She is an amazing paper crafting star, and I'm so pleased to have her here for the film. So let's meet Laura Sturck. Hey, Laura. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Nice to meet you. All right. So that's Laura for you. Let's go ahead and bring my next guest on. She is an amazing YouTube star, and I love her clean and simple style. And you know what's best about her YouTube videos? She makes any and every card really simple and easy for anyone to do. So I'm so happy to have Nicole Picadura as my next guest. Let's bring her on. Hey, Nicole. You muted. Say something.
Hello.
All right. Thank you so much for joining in the finale. It's
Thanks
awesome
for
to have
having
you
me.
here. All right. So my third guest is known for three things, and she's equally famous for all three of them. The first one is paper crafting, of course. The second one is her trendy nails. And the third one is Manny. So I'm so excited to bring Christina Werner to the Minecraft finale. Let's bring her on. Hey, Christina.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining in the finale.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right. So for my fourth guest, I'm going to use Andrini's comment from the Facebook event page. Andrini said that my fourth guest makes her spend a lot of money on crafting supplies. That is so true. But you know what? I love my guest every time she does that. So let's welcome our favorite crafting enabler, Jennifer McGuire. All right, let's bring her in. Hey, Jennifer.
Hello, how are you?
We're good. Thank you so much for
having
joining
me.
in the finale.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. All right, so let's see their pretty pictures once. Woohoo! Okay, so back to us. What we are going to do is we have a whole bunch of things lined up today. We're going to start with a bunch of different segments during the show. So the first segment we have is what I call story time, which is when I get to ask my guests something to tell them, to get them to tell us a story. And we're going to hear about how they got started in paper crafting, maybe some of their exciting moments of paper crafting, and just basically hear a lot of stories. Let's get started. All right. Okay, so the first person I'm going to ask for a story is Laura. So, Laura, you are our youngest guest, and I want to know how you got started in paper crafting. What motivated you into this hobby?
Well, in 2010, when I was about 13 years old, I was just like really into crafting yourself things. So I was just browsing YouTube videos for some inspiration, and then all of a sudden I came across a video from Christina, and it was for the Finally Friday video series for Two Peas in a Bucket. And Christina was using clear stamps and Versamark ink, and I was hooked. I really loved everything about making cards.
So, what was the first crafty thing you bought then? Did Christina get you to buy some things out of the video?
Yeah, it was a clear stamp set from Inkadinkado, I think. It was a butterfly stamp set.
Nice, great choice of stamp set. Very cool. All right, so we will continue with our story time. The next guest I want to ask is Jennifer. So Jennifer, you get all of us enabled and ready to get a lot of crafting supplies. So we want to know what your first crafty purchase was.
Oh boy, that was a long time ago. The first thing I bought was a scrapbook because I was volunteering with my church youth group, and we went on a mission trip, and I put together a scrapbook for our youth leader. And so I think the first crafty thing I bought was a scrapbook. And so I started in scrapbooking, and eventually the owner of Hero Arts called me out of the blue and said he wanted me to do some work for him, and I hadn't stamped. So he sent me some stamps, and that's what, hook, line, and sinker. I was done then. After getting some Hero Art stamps in my hands, I was sold. So first it was scrapbooking, then it was Hero Art stamps. So
awesome, and you have an amazingly organized dream craft room, I think, for all of us. So how big was your first crafty supplies box?
Oh, it was tiny. I had this little roller, one of those Iris roller carts, and I was living with my brother at the time. And I remember I had this cart, and I said, I'll never need more than this. I don't know why people buy stamps, because can't you just print clip art from the computer? I don't need anything more than this. And then before you know it, that turned into a big table in the basement, and that turned into some cabinets, and I was completely wrong. And it just kind of spiraled from there. So yeah, I started with very little, and I was good with that for a while. But once I realized this was becoming like my job and more serious, it started to grow. So
awesome. It's awesome to know that there was a time when you had a smaller box.
Wow.
Very cool. I think all of us.
It was organized in that little cart. It was organized.
Nice, very nice. Okay, so Nicole, you're next up now for story time, and we want to know what was your first paper crafting thing that you made. You enable all of us to make awesome projects, so we want to know what is the first thing you made.
The very first one that I ever made using some papers and some stamps, and I had a couple of corner punches, was for my wedding invitation. I grew up in South Korea, and I went to college in America, in Hawaii. I went to BYU Hawaii, and that's where I met my husband. And then we decided to get married later on. And that's when I said, well, I think I want to make something on my own to make it memorable. And I had no idea about stamps, and I knew a little bit about scrapbooking, but I wasn't really into it. I never tried it. So I said, I'll just start with something small and something easy that I can start. So I went to a paper store. So I think that was a store name that I went, and I just picked out a bunch of different cardstocks and print out my invitations, and then just corner punch and then tie the ribbon, and that was my very first one. And after that, I made a wedding album after we got married, and that was back in 2007. I was living in this tiny apartment in San Francisco, and I was just going crazy with paper crafting and the scrapbooking and all of our wedding pictures. It was really, really fun. So that's my very first projects that I ever made in paper crafting, and I evolved from there to card making.
So there was no stamping on the first project?
No, I did use a lot of ribbons and stickers and ribbons and punches, and that's about it. And that's where I bought my first Cricut as well. And my husband gave me as a Christmas present so that I can finish up some embellishments and some die cuts. I had no idea anything about Big Shots or other punches as well. So yeah, I didn't have any stamps that time.
Nice. So it looks like, well, we still have to hear Christina's story, but is it really true that out of the 5 of us here, we're talking about stamping and paper crafting, 3 of us got started with no stamps as our first project? That's kind of funny. All right, so we are going to hear Christina's story now. But you know what? Before we go to the story, Christina, we want to see what is the color of the Ironcraft manicure, the finale manicure.
Just red.
Ooh,
red.
nice.
I put it on Facebook Friday night, so it hasn't changed since then.
Oh, awesome. All right, so tell us your story, and I want to know how did paper crafting become your full-time job? Where did the transition happen from a hobby to a job?
Well, I didn't come at it from just I want to start crafting. I actually was hired at Stampin' Up! Right out of college to design their catalog. So that was my introduction to crafting because I saw all the projects in the catalogs and I saw these amazing things that all of the sample and concept artists were creating. And before I worked at Stampin' Up, I was, no, I don't want to craft, I don't want to scrapbook, I don't want to do any of that. It is not my scene. I can never envision myself scrapbooking. I mean, for some reason I had like this hatred for it. I don't understand it. I think it's because when I was like up until that point, it was around 2005, everything was very cutesy. There wasn't a whole lot of like clean and simple type of scrapbooking, or at least I hadn't seen it yet. And so when I started at Stampin' Up, I saw that it could be designed really well and it could be clean and simple, and there were so many other styles. It didn't have to be the style that I'd always seen, and I thought that was really cool. So I think one of my coworkers, Colleen, she shared with me 2 peas in a bucket, and I still remember the very first scrapbook page that I saw that I was like, this could be really cool. It was from, Laura, I can't remember her name. She was a garden girl. Jennifer probably knows. It was this page that had like one of those silver bullet trailers, and it had, anyway, I've talked about this in the past. Anyway, I saw her scrapbook page, and I thought it was really cool. So I started to scrapbook, and then soon I ran out of pictures. At the time, I didn't have a cat. I didn't have any, or still don't have any children. All I had were a few nieces and nephews. And so once all of those photos ran out, I was like, well, what do I do now? And then I thought, you know, maybe I'll just try card making because it'll get that paper crafting and playing with paper me taken care of, and I can still create something, but I don't have to have a photo. So that's how I started making cards. And as far as it becoming my full-time job, because I was becoming more familiar with the crafting industry, because I was more immersed in it, my job at Stampin' Up! Sort of morphed into product design. I started out designing the catalog, but then I started designing stamps and pattern papers. So that's how I got into the crafting world professionally. It wasn't making cards, it wasn't anything like that. It was the back end producing product.
Very nice. So it does seem like out of 5 of us, 4 of us started without any stamps into this, and only Laura has gotten in on the right foot. All right, cool. So these are really awesome stories, and I think we will have a lot more stories when we go into the next section, which is questions and answers. So remember, folks, that I asked all of you guys to post questions, and actually all my guests also told you guys to post questions on the Facebook event page. So what we did was we collected all of those questions, went over them, and then each of my guests have selected 2 questions today to answer. And if your question gets answered here, you will get a $10 gift certificate from Elin Hudson or from Simon Says Stamp. So what's going to happen is we will do 2 rounds. In the first round of Q&A, everyone whose questions get answered in the first round will get the $10 gift certificate from Elin Hudson, and everyone whose questions get answered in the second round will get $10 gift certificate from Simon Says Stamp. So is everyone ready for the first round of questions and answers? All right. So we are going to start with Jennifer, you first. And the question Jennifer has picked, so this is actually one question, but and these are asked by 2 different people, slightly different, but Jennifer thought these would be great as one question together. So Coney Longley asked, on any given day, what is the average amount of time you can devote to crafting? And then Celine Blackow asked, how do you manage to juggle your mom, kids, family job with your card making job? And are there any tips for good time management that you could share with us? All right, Jennifer, you're on.
I don't know why I picked those because I don't really have an answer. But I think the whole point is that I don't think anybody has an answer. I don't think anybody's figured out time management, especially anybody who has kids, because you know you're at the mercy of whatever's going on in the kid's life. But for me, how much do I craft a day? My daughter takes a very long nap. She naps from like 1 to 5. So I can do crafting then, but then I have to stop and go pick up my son from school, and there's interruptions along the way, but usually that is my key time to get crafting done. I never craft at night. I mean, I think I've done it once in the past few years. When the kids are in bed, I'm with my older daughter and my husband and my brother, and we watch TV, and I do a little computer work, but I never craft at night. I think you need to find what time of day works for you and figure out how to make good use of that time. So for me, I know I don't do good at night, so I don't even try because I would just get frustrated. But I think that's the biggest choice that you can make. But mine, I got to say, this is my job. I think if it weren't my job, I probably wouldn't be able to craft as much as that I do. And then maybe I would be crafting at night. But usually I try to get a couple good hours in the afternoon. And ask Christina. I mean, I text her all the time until I'm losing my mind. And I don't feel like I do a good job balancing it all. But, I try. And when it became my job, my husband takes on more in the house. So he does laundry and he does grocery shopping and all that. So it's more of a team effort. But again, when it was my hobby, I just squeezed in time whenever I could. I think having a devoted space helps too because you can leave it out and come back to it. For a while when I was working on the living room floor with that little iris card, it was hard because you'd have to put it all away and then get it all back out. So I think having a devoted space, even if it's just a table in a corner of a room, really makes a big difference. But nobody does it all. And if you think anybody does it all, you're being fooled. Because I have yet to find anybody who does have a good balance. You just got to do the best you can do.
I wanted to ask another kind of add-up question to this, Jennifer.
Okay.
So, do you plan your posts and your cards out earlier than when they go on? Does that help?
I will sit down and I'll try to plan what I'm going to do every day, have on my blog every day that week, and I have never, ever, ever been able to do it because something comes up. It just never happens. So that's why I don't have a schedule on my blog of these are the days where posts go up because I don't know when it's going to happen. So I usually know what I'm going to do next, but not much past that. I'll write down ideas, but really it's just one at a time. And I think it's like with having kids. You kind of tackle one thing at a time, and it's the same thing. So if I start thinking too far in advance, I start to get really frustrated because I'm not able to achieve it. So by just having one thing in my mind at a time, I know I can do one thing. So I get that done before starting to think about the others. And in my planner on the front, I have a bunch of ideas of things I do want to get to eventually, but I try not to assign it a specific time because I'll lose my mind. I'll get really frustrated and bummed that I miss out on things. And there's a lot of times where I want to participate in things or use a new product, and I don't get there. But you try and you just have fun with what you can have fun with.
All right, so the bottom line is if the most organized paper crafter we know is also just taking it one day at a time.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Awesome, and it's also part of enjoying it, I guess. You don't want
to... it's supposed to be fun, right? So, I think if you try to get too scheduled, at least for me, if it's too scheduled, I'll never have any fun, so.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. So let's go on to the next question, and this one is for Laura. So Verena Febin asked, I love the backgrounds you have created in your cards. Where do you get the inspiration from, and what all do you generally use for the backgrounds? Okay, Laura, you're on.
I'm usually inspired by the stamp set itself. Sometimes I stare at my set for a really long time, and I just don't know what to do, so I just pick some of the stamps and I just start stamping. And if I'm really not inspired, I just visit Pinterest and I'm immediately inspired. And I just usually use ink pads, or I heat emboss the background and then I add some watercolors or distress ink or something like that.
So you're saying distress ink always works?
Yeah.
If you're not inspired, use distress ink. Oh, and Laura, I think you have someone on your lap that you should show to us.
Yes, this is Ginny.
Ooh, hi, Ginny. You have an extra guest. All right. And I hope Christina is going to show us Manny as well. If Manny wants to be on it, he will be on it. All right. So let's go on to the next question, and this one is for Nicole. So the question is from Anja Kervers, and Anja's asking, I peeked at your beautiful scrap room. How do you manage to keep it all so neat, clean, and organized? Do you clean up after finishing your project?
I do. I usually do clean up, actually, each project. I set aside a day because I have a full-time job during the week. If I have time at night, I'll, on the weeknights, I'll craft here and there. But I prefer to spend time with my husband, obviously. So usually Fridays are my day to craft because that's my day off and I can fully focus on it. I don't have any kids, so I don't have any distractions, fortunately for now. So usually I work on a lot of projects a day. That way I can kind of plan on a couple of projects for my design team. I have projects that I do for a couple of them, and then I do on my regular YouTube videos and tutorials. So I create multiple of them, and I usually put away every time when I'm done with one card, or and I bring out next one, and then that way it kind of helps me focus. I'm a major OCD, so if it's really cluttered around me, I cannot focus. And also, like Jennifer said earlier, having a devoted space really works. So I tried, I think it took me about 4 or 5 years for me to find a organized systems that really works for me. And obviously there's a lot of help out there. A lot of people know Jennifer's a good tip giver as well. But I evolved from a very small space, and then now I have a bigger office where I can work in one corner for my full-time job, and I can craft on another side of the room. And it just helps me when everything is there and I can just quickly grab it and then move on to the next things and then have it all on my craft desk and work it and film my videos and then put them away quickly and then bring them out, different projects for next card. So yes, I do put them away every single time, and it just helps me to focus. It kind of, like when you draw on a canvas and you don't draw on it again, right? If you want to work on a new painting piece, you take out a new canvas, a new blank canvas. So it kind of works that way for me, if it makes sense.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful analogy, actually, that you have a blank canvas each time to work on. So does putting away, though, like the thought of having to clean up each time and putting away cause you to not, bring out a lot of supplies? Does it feel like, oh my God, if I take out too many supplies, I am not going to put them away later and there'll be this huge mess?
No. If you have a space for, like, literally my craft supplies, everything has a space for themselves. So if you have, if you are available to do, if you're able to do that, sorry, I'm like getting tongue twisted. If you're able to do that, it helps for you to put them away quickly and then bring them out quickly. So it kind of gives you less stress throughout the process, I think. And obviously, I take out most used tools and most used ink pads very close to me, so I can easily grab it. That way it kind of shortens the time for me to clean up and everything. So I think it depends on how you can manage your space and work it out, makes it really function for you, and look for a tool that actually works and an organization system that works. Just because other people use it, that doesn't mean it's going to always work for you. So just search all the time. Pinterest is great. I usually go through Google Image. I just type scrapbook room ideas, and then you can see a bunch of ideas on different rooms and pick other people's brain and go from there. And then you can kind of slowly build it. It's not going to get it all at once. It's not going to happen overnight. You kind of need to give it a time and work it out and see what works best for you.
Nice. I like the idea of everything in its place, and definitely that helps. And if you want to pick brains, then you have to look at the Handcraft videos. That's just a plug from me. All right. So the next question is for Christina. So here goes. Sonia Single asked, what crafts did you do as a child? Just wondering what shaped you into this career. I want to guide my daughter to love and be good at paper crafts, coloring, etc. like you. Awesome question. Go ahead, Christina.
Okay. Let's see. As a child, I loved coloring books. I loved all types of coloring, crayons, colored pencils, markers. I loved it. My mom saw my love for art really, really early on, and so she was very, very supportive. I think one of the biggest things that she did for me was she made art supplies available to me whenever I wanted them or whenever I needed them. So I remember it was like a go-to Christmas gift every year was like, get me some paper and some markers. And one year, I think it was my senior year of high school, she got me a drawing table because I was getting into calligraphy quite a bit. And so she had gone to an art store and said, what do calligraphers need? And the person told them she needs a drawing table. So that's what she got. And in fact, I still have that drawing table. I used it for, I think, up until last year as my craft table. So I used it in all my videos. It's been with me for a long, long time. So just lots of support from family was really great. So I did a lot of drawing. As far as other types of crafts, every summer our mom would give us, all of my siblings, an embroidery cross-stitch project, and we had to work on it all summer long. And whenever we were bored and we said, Mom, what are we supposed to do? She'd say, hey, remember that sewing project I gave you? And we would have to work on it. So if you didn't like your sewing project, you became very good at not saying you were bored, because otherwise she would send you to your room to do your sewing project. So none of that. Anyway, so I did a little sewing, like hand sewing, embroidery stuff. But other than that, it was just coloring and drawing and calligraphy.
Awesome. That's great. That's really awesome. And those are some awesome tips for getting everyone interested in paper crafting. I don't think they're actually just applicable to kids. I think I could try them on my friends too, who are not yet paper crafters. Maybe get them in. All right. So let's go on to the next question. And this one's again for Jennifer. So we are actually at the second round. All of the people who got their questions answered in this first round are going to get gift certificates from Elin Hudson. And Jennifer picked the 2 questions to combine, so both of you guys are actually getting the $10 gift certificates from Elin Hudson. So we're going on to the next round where all of the folks whose questions will be answered will get gift certificates from Simon Says STEM. All right, so let's go on to this one. So this question is for Jennifer from Elizabeth Lumsden. And Elizabeth says, you are such a perfectionist, and I love how you show us how to fix oopsies on your videos. But you seem to be your own worst critic a lot of times because all your cards are so fantastic. So the question is, do you ever start a card for one of your how-to videos and totally scrap it? I think I know the answer to this one, but I'm going to let Jennifer answer. Go ahead.
Never. Never, never. I never scrap it. I shouldn't say never. I don't remember ever scrapping it because my cards all get mailed eventually. Maybe sometimes it takes a while, but I figure somebody's gonna like it, right? You know, there are many times where I make a card that I just do not like at all, and I'll put it up, and people on YouTube will just love it. So just because I don't like something doesn't mean somebody else won't, and vice versa. Sometimes the card that I kind of like, others just don't seem to like have a spark on it. Everybody has a different opinion, so if it makes somebody happy, then it works for me. So I rarely start over. Also, I don't have time to start over, so usually I just kind of make it work. There are some times where I try a technique and I'll have to try it a few times to figure out how to do it right, but it's not giving up on the idea or the card. I rarely do that. But sometimes, because I always like to include some sort of technique in my videos, so sometimes that technique takes a little practice, but I don't like just totally trash something. It might morph into something else, but I never trash anything. And I'm a perfectionist about some things. Card making really isn't one of them. Like my actual card itself really isn't one of them, because I figure like the little oopsies, you know, if I give somebody a card and they say, "Ooh, it looks like you scratched off some black ink in the corner," I'm just gonna never give them a card again. So, you know, who's really gonna say that, right? So who's gonna notice it? You know, I don't have time to notice. They don't have time to notice. So it's the thought that counts. And we're handmade, not Hallmark. So I don't really worry about it much. So I'm a perfectionist in how I organize things, but not so much the final result. And it's something I'm also dealing with, and I come to say to myself a lot, like sometimes Christina will tell you this, in a class, like I'll have to do a video in our online card classes, and I'm supposed to do one card, and I end up doing like 3 or 4 in one video, and I think she wants to strangle me. But that is I tend to overachieve sometimes, and sometimes I need to not do that, and instead just overachieve in the things that matter, you know, like things with the kids or whatever. So I try not to let myself get too wrapped up in something being perfect, because it's just paper, it's just glue, it's not changing the world, it's just supposed to make somebody smile, and I think it will make them smile even if there's a little bit of ink in the corner. Maybe I'm wrong, so I don't know. But if I do have a card where there's ink in the corner, I'm not going to send it to like any of these girls. Those will go to like my aunt or somebody like that, because I know these girls would all notice it. But anyways, you know, it's just paper. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be therapeutic, not make you feel more stressed. So I am my worst critic. I'm never really in love with the card I do. But that's just me. I don't know. It's part of me growing. I don't get upset about it. I just move on, I guess. So I get excited seeing my friends' cards. Like when Laura posts a video that I actually had Laura do a video for me that I'm going to share on my blog if I ever get a chance. But it's the cutest card in the world, and seeing that makes me really happy. Like seeing people I care about create just awesome stuff. You know, my card, I do it and I move on and hope it makes somebody smile. So I try not to get wrapped up in it.
It does. It definitely does. So I think from what you just told us, I came to pick on 2 things. One is that if we rummage through your trash can, we are not going to find any cards that we can directly use.
No.
And the second thing is, when, there's the mistake in minting a coin and then it becomes like a very collector's item. So if there's ever a card that you receive that has, from Jennifer, that has a ink smudge in the corner, that's the collector's item, and we're supposed to.
There you go. Yeah. Usually it's hidden under a gem or a sequin or something, but
yeah,
there.
Ooh, I have a card of it from Jennifer with a smudge in the corner.
Yeah, it's likely to happen.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go on to the next question. This one is for Laura, so let's take a look at what the question is. So Maureen Hayes says, what do you want to do for a living when you grow up? Do you intend to work in the crafting industry or do something else altogether? Go ahead, Laura.
I would love to be a kindergarten teacher. I just really love to work with kids. I also did this internship with kids with special needs for 5 weeks, and I just really love doing it. So I just really like to work with children. But of course, I would also still love to blog and make cards. So maybe even a stamp company, but we'll see about that.
Awesome, that's really cool. And getting to work with kids, that means you'll be able to teach them paper crafting too.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice. All right, so let's go ahead. The next question is for Nicole again. So here it is. Beth Holt says, how do you develop a style and stay consistent with it? And I think, Nicole, you're the perfect person to answer this. Your style is really consistent all throughout. So go ahead.
I think I developed my style because I couldn't, when I first started to craft, I couldn't really do a lot of techniques. It was really frustrating at times because I wouldn't get the same results, and it was just too much. And also, I had a really tiny budget back then, so I couldn't buy like too much product to try all that. So I say, well, let's just start with cardstocks and papers, and I'll just build from there. So I started with cardstock and some pattern papers and some stamps, obviously, and a couple of inks, and I just tried to use the ones that I had and kind of really burn those products out because I wanted to try, I wanted to experiment as much as I can before I go out there and buy another product. So that was the first reason, I think, why I have that such a simple style, and still now. And the reason why I kept it so far is because for my followers, a lot of also are beginners, and they tend to get intimidated when they see lots of techniques out there. So I just want to offer them something that they can always find, really easy to create, so they would feel inspired and actually craft rather than just being inspired and then get flamed, sometimes, because we all hit that, wall sometimes, and when you don't feel like you can do it, you get really discouraged. So I want something where actually people can watch and follow along and make it really easy for them to create and then use the products that they have on their hand, because I think that's really important. And yes, as a crafters and as a stamper, we tend to collect a lot of products, and I'm really guilty of it too. But I think it's really it's really nice for us to use what we have and kind of maximize and find new use every time when you bring them out time to time. So I think that's the reason why I stay consistent, and it just makes me happy. I don't need to get frustrated. I do stamp because I like it. It makes me happy. It makes me relax, de-stress from all the work that I do, during the week. So it's just for myself and also for my fans to just keep it simple and neat, and everybody can create, everybody can share the love of cards and stamping and send them out in the mail, because that's what's important, I think, just sharing the love, something that you created. So I think that's the reason, I guess, I never went too crazy with my projects.
Do you find, though, Nicole, that you come across products that don't fit into your style, but you have to try and work them into it?
Oh yeah, definitely. And then I actually tried a couple other projects using those products. Like paints are really hard for me sometimes. I don't know. And I don't like getting messy while I craft. So like distressed ink is my absolute, like, the line for me to get messy with it. But it's still fun. I like to experiment, and some of the project, if you go on my blog, some of them projects are really like vibrant and there's like really out there. I would do those things time to time, it just to get it fresh. But I just like coming back to clean and simple for some reason. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to work with other product or not experiment and try new techniques, because new techniques are always fun. I think it's important that how you want to incorporate into your own and make it your own after you learn a new technique. And even though it's a complicated technique, you can keep it simple, I think. So, yeah.
Awesome. So I think what you're saying, Nicole, I really, really like that, is have a style, kind of stay true to it, but you can always, try out other things, and experimenting is good. It's good to challenge yourself.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so let's go on to the next question. And the next one is for Christina again. So Connie Grace Brooks says, question for any of the designers. So Christina has picked up this one. Which comes first, the stamp set or the technique? That's a fun question. Nice.
It really depends. Sometimes I really just want to try a technique, and so I'll flip through all of my stamps looking for something that would work well with it. Or sometimes I'll be looking at a stamp set and I really want to use it, and I'll try to figure out a technique that would work well with it. So I think it could go either way.
Cool. That was easy.
Yeah, short answer.
Yep, nice. Okay, so I think we are done with the Q&A round, and our guests need to have some fun too. So let's go ahead into the next section and do some fun and games. Cool. So, folks, what we are going to do is have some fun. I'm going to get these four ladies to do a bunch of things while I sit back and watch all the fun myself. And the first thing we are going to do is what I think you are familiar with during the Ironcraft series of this season. What we are going to do is get these folks to pose for the Ironcraft camera. And this time it's going to be interesting because we are going to use the Google Effects app. So these ladies are going to have some props to play with when they pose. And I'm going to call out a pose for each of them. Now, this is completely spontaneous, so bear with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. They do not know what poses I'm going to call out for them, so that's going to be fun. and we are going to start with, oh, oops, hold on, lady. Laura's not here. What happened? All right. Let's continue on though. Hopefully she'll be back soon. So we are going to start with Jennifer. Oh, Laura's here. She's back. Hey, Laura. What happened?
Not sure. It just all froze, and then I had to restart my computer, and
That's okay. We are paper crafters. We are not technology experts, so that's fine. Okay. So let's start with Jennifer. Jennifer, you are on, and I am going to focus the camera on you. Actually, let me also get my camera ready for you. We cannot see you. What happened? Oh, there you are. Okay, you're back now.
Am I there?
So, yes, you're there. So go ahead and start the Google Effects app. Do you have that on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you are going to be a birthday princess for us.
Oh, good. So do I have to do all this stuff on it?
Yes. Let's see. What props can you select? Go ahead and maybe that. Okay. And pose for us. Oh, that looks good. And maybe take the cake. That really makes the birthday princess.
I gotta find the cake.
Just scroll to the right. That's fun too. You go all the way to the end. Yeah, there's the cake. Okay, you are a birthday princess, and I'm gonna take a picture. 3, 2, 1, click.
It's
awesome.
Lovely.
That was fun. Okay, so next up is who am I picking as my target next? Let's go for Laura.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to pin you, and you are going to be a snorkeling pirate for us.
Okay.
There is a snorkel for you to use. Cool, and there's also a pirate hat for you to use. And a headwear.
There you go.
Cool, that makes you a snorkeling pirate. Okay, I'm going to take a picture now. 3,
Yeah.
2, 1, click. Perfect. Great job, everyone. Okay, so the next one, my next target is going to be Nicole. Hey, Nicole, are you ready?
Okay, let's do this.
Okay, let's try and make you into a devilish angel.
Oh my goodness. All right. So, is it the devil horn?
Yep. Can you select the halo and the horns at the same time?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I'm going to take 2 pictures of you, and maybe we'll put those together later.
Okay.
Let's do the devil first. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, and click. Perfect. Let's do the angel now.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and click. Perfect. You are an awesome devilish angel.
Thank you.
All right. Christina, you're up.
Okay.
All right. So what we are getting you to do is you are going to be a geeky royalty.
Geeky royalty?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, let's see here.
And the geeky part, you have to do an eyewear.
I have eyewear.
No, you have to do the effects eyewear for even more geeky effects. Okay, perfect. That makes you a geeky royalty. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, and click. Perfect. All right, guys. So I am going to let all of you guys off the hook now, so you can get rid of your props. Cool. Or you can keep them on if you really like them, so that's fine. And we are going to continue this fun and games. So let's go on to the next part of the fun and games, which is draw and pose. So what we are going to do is we will use the Draw app, which is another Google Hangouts app. So get ready, ladies, or you can start the draw app. And I am also going to get that started here. And so what I'll do is we're going to go kind of in a circle and think of this as a video Pictionary you can draw on your fellow Minecrafters' faces. And we will start with a pair, every pair. So one person will draw while the other person, shows their face, and I will put that on the camera. And I will call out a phrase again. So make the person for whom you're drawing do that phrase. Okay, you'll see when the first pair goes what I mean. So the first pair I'm actually going to pick is Laura. You will be drawing for Christina. So
Okay.
Let's pin Christina. And Laura, you are going to draw so that Christina has a crafty idea.
Okay. I'm really not good at drawing, by the way. Let's see.
That's what stamps are for.
Yes.
Draw a light bulb for her. Oh, and we're totally allowed to call out suggestions.
Oopsie.
Okay, there's a yellow spot. Christina's getting a light bulb.
Oh, I see where we're going.
I'm going to give you some crazy eyes, so you have like.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Oh, crazy idea. Here's an idea. And tell me when you're done, Laura, so I'll take a picture.
Is it like whenever I get an idea that I get crazy eyes? You can just start calling me crazy. Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, so you have half a light bulb, you have some thoughts, and you get crazy-eyed when you have an idea. Ready? Ooh. Okay, that's how Christina looks like. So let's see, we can get rid of that. Okay, you're off the hook, Christina. Now Christina gets to draw. So
Okay.
the next target is Nicole. So I'm going to pin you, Nicole. And Christina, you are going to make her enjoy a cup of coffee.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, all right. Let's see if I can do this.
Can I hold my hand?
Oh, whoa, what just happened? What did I do?
I see something white floating out there beside Nicole. So it's still there. Nicole, hold your hand up.
Oh, like it was weird, like my screen did something weird. Like it's still, oh, it paused the
Darn.
screen. Oh, okay.
You got to be in.
Hold on. I need to erase this.
You can start over, yeah. You make awesome stamp sets for us. This should be easy.
All right, so I need to draw. Okay, here we go. I need to draw my coffee cup
Okay, there it is.
closer to her head. I was putting it off to the side.
Okay. Get some steam rising out of it. It's a hot coffee.
Oh, I don't want it on that side because she needs to be holding it. I'm a perfectionist.
Side. Perfect. Okay. Oh, nice. Hot coffee for Nicole. And that.
Oh,
There we go.
All right. I'm going to take a picture. 3, 2, 1. Three.
I love your expression.
So I'm really sad to get rid of that nice cup, but we have to do it. And Nicole, you are off the hook, and now you get to draw on Jennifer. So Jennifer, I'm going to pin you.
Hey.
And Nicole, you are going to draw for Jennifer. She is hungry. So let's see how Jennifer
oh my goodness.
That is normal.
So let's see how she looks like when she's hungry. Go ahead.
Let's see. What happens when you're hungry?
You have some stamps too in the on the other side of the.
Yeah, I'm looking through it. Oh, there we go. Should I give a light bulb? I am hungry. There you go. Oh, never mind.
Ooh. Jennifer gets a star-shaped.
She looks like she's angry hungry.
It happens.
Avatars hungry. Do you get hungry, Jennifer, when you're hungry? I don't know.
No, but my kids do, so I can relate.
Okay. Do you want to put on anything else, Nicole?
Let's see. I'm trying to find the food.
Oh,
The only kind I can
there is
find
food
is...
directly.
There you go.
Oh, there is? Oh, awesome.
Choice.
Oh, it's like
Nice.
in hair.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1, and stay still, Jennifer. 3, 2, 1, and picture. All right. Jennifer is hungry with a star-shaped something behind her, lightning bolt behind her. Okay. So the next. Nice. Okay, so Jennifer, you're off the hook, and you get to draw now. So the next target is Laura. Laura, I'm going to pin you. And Jennifer, you are going to make Laura study for a test.
Ah, okay. So how do her picture? How do I get her picture up here?
Just click on her.
Okay,
A little
here we go.
smaller.
Okay,
Okay.
she's studying.
Mm-hmm. And then
Amazing.
you have drawing, like you could freehand draw, or you have stamps as well.
I'm working on. Let's see here. Well, she's got to put on her glasses
Yep.
so that she can be studious,
Okay.
and then
Those are some big glasses.
yeah, they are. But those are in style these days, you know, those giant glasses. So
Well, she has to study. She has to look the part when she's
Yep.
studying too. So
is that in there? Can you see that?
yeah, perfect.
Let's see if I can do this. Oh, I can't get the text work. Here we go. All right. Did it work? No. Hold on. Let's try again.
Hey.
Well, that's a really bad font. I'm sorry.
That is Comic Sans. I think my designer eyes are going blind.
Oh, that's awful. I don't know how to erase it. Okay, sorry. You're smart, but that's a bad choice of font.
That's okay. Laura, do you have a book around you to grab and we'll take a picture?
Yes, okay.
Okay, so let's make Laura really study for a test. That's how she looks like. 3, 2, 1, and picture.
Oh, that's so cute.
That was so cute.
Okay, so sorry, Laura, you're not going to be smart anymore for saying it out. Cool. So that was all of our fun and games round. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and I hope you girls enjoyed it too. Woohoo! So I will post the pictures of this one later on as well, but I hope all of you guys got to see it. Let's go on to the next segment of this finale. Oh, and totally not related to the finale, but I wanted to show Jennifer this. This quote is for you. Cleaning is just putting stuff in less obvious places. I just wanted to show it to you. You're muted.
What does it say?
Cleaning is just putting stuff in less obvious places.
I like it.
Yep. Cool. So we are going to go on to the next part of our finale, which is show and tell. So this is the portion that all of you must be really familiar with, especially if you have followed Ironcraft throughout the season. So what we are going to do is show you the ingredients that we used, and all of us used the same ingredient to create our card. So here is what we used. The ingredient is the Trick or Treat Clear Stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and Christina designed this set, of course. So thank you, Christina, for giving us an awesome ingredient. And this is probably the time to play applause.
Oh, where'd the applause go?
Perfect. All right, so all of us created cards using this ingredient. Do all of you have your cards with you? Oh, and this is how the stamp set looks like. Cool. Let's show our cards, everyone. 3, 2, 1, show me your cards. Perfect. So I'm gonna at random focus on one of you guys. All right, that's an amazing card. Oh wow, how did you get those the lights on him instead of the mummy strips? Go ahead and tell us.
Are you talking to mine?
Yes, you are on.
I don't do a whole lot of Halloween cards, but that dog looks just like my Roxy, my dog. So I decided to change the mummy wrappings to Christmas lights. So I just took a black pen that works with Copic markers and just changed it. I am not an artist, so if I can do this, anybody can do this. But I'm always looking for different ways to use stamps, and that seemed to work out okay. I was going to make it look like he was all wrapped up in toilet paper and have like a stamp greeting like, I'm sorry, sorry you're in a bind or something like that, but then the Christmas light idea came to me. So if you look closely, it's really bad, but I think it gets the point across. So I'll have a video going up on my blog tonight that shows it. But so now I want Christine to design the dog with Christmas lights, so I don't have to do that again.
Yeah, we need an add-on set like
I tapped in on it.
Nice. So we're getting requests right here, and we will really love to watch that video and to see how that dog went from having mummy strips. I think it's time I actually showed everyone.
Yeah,
look at that image. It's amazing how you went from those mummy stripes to that.
Just don't look close.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So I'm just going to go in the other So the next one is Christina. Go ahead, Christina. Show us your.
Okay, hold on. Make sure I'm showing on screen. Ooh, there we go. Ta-da! I was channeling my inner Sandy Alnach.
Nice.
She does lots of fun backgrounds like this, so I wanted to do a background kind of like this.
Awesome. And you said that this was going to be your video in the next week too?
Yeah, on Wednesday. This will be my Color Wednesday video this week.
Awesome. And there are no white dashed lines on it.
Nope, but there's Manny.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But Manny's there. Manny is my cat, if you guys aren't familiar. He is napping somewhere. I don't know where he's at. So.
Oh. Well, he has 5 or 10 minutes more to decide to make an appearance. I hope he does. That's perfect. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that in the cat in the stamp set is Manny, so you can get Manny in the stamp form now. Perfect. All right, Laura, you are up next.
Okay. So I created like a starry background first, and then I colored Manny using Copic markers. And I kind of, I put a coat of Wink of Stella and glossy accents on the coat, so
Nice.
I'm not sure if you can really see the sparkliness.
Sort of. But I think we'll have better pictures, so I'm going to put up better pictures on my blog later. So, perfect. Show us the card, go back with the card. Let's see the full card. Ooh, nice. Really nice.
Thank you.
I love that scripty sentiment, right? It's so scrolly, scripty. It's perfect. You can just stamp it and get a lot of, just out of the sentiment, get a lot out of it. Nice. All right, Nicole, you're next.
All right, so this is my card. I don't know if you can see it well because of the light, but...
Oh, yeah, if you turn it around, we do.
There we go. So I did only embossing for this card.
Mm-hmm.
I figured a lot of people will use the cat and the dog image, so I decided to highlight the sentiment first, and I wanted that to be a main focus of the card because it's such a really cool sentiment. It's really scripty and love the style of it. So I heat embossed it with some of the Ultra High from WOW embossing powder, and then stamped the spiders and a couple of bats over here, and I stamped the mini spiders too with their spider webs on, but those don't show up well. But you'll see better on the picture that I send.
Nice, perfect. I love it. It's all shiny too. Did you use some shiny embossing powder?
Yeah, I used a couple of metallic one and then clear one too. So.
Nice, very cool. And I got to ask Christina, is that your handwriting in the sentiment?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I'm the last one to go. So this is my card, and I also did some coloring on Manny, gave him some googly eyes, and did a bit of layering. And this was one technique. So I got introduced to this foam first, I think in one of Christina or Jennifer's videos, and then I ran out of double-sided tape. If you guys saw my page recently, I posted that I just got a very large roll of tape. But unfortunately, when I was making this card, I ran out of it. So what I did was I used a whole sheet of fun foam to give some dimension to the card and kind of make it bulkier. So since I ran out of the tape.
So
And I
cute.
drew a few cobwebs on the sides too.
Very cute.
Perfect. So I am going to have pictures of all of these cards as well as the really fun pictures that I took of everyone later on in the blog post on my blog as well. But let us go on to, unfortunately, the last part of this lovely episode. We have to thank all of the finale sponsors. So there is Simon Says Stamp, there is Elin Hudson, Ranger, Top Dog Dice, Pretty Pink Posh. All of them had really fabulous giveaways for the reveal days. And then Simon Says Stamp and Elin Hudson are also sponsoring gift cards for those whose questions got answered. And we also played with this awesome stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. So thank you, big thank you to all of the sponsors. And even bigger thank you to all of the sponsors throughout the Ironcraft finale. That was really, really awesome to interview such amazing guests, to have so much fun, and also to have such amazing sponsors. And there are two things I should tell you guys before we all sign off. One is that tomorrow is going to be an after party on my blog. So what I'll have is a recording of this event, all of the photos we took, all of the photos of our cards as well, and then there will be a discount coupon for Elin Hudson on my blog as well. So do visit and do come by for the after party. And we are going to be back next year for Ironcraft Season 3. So please do follow my blog, my YouTube channel if you want to get more Ironcraft fun. So there will be a Season 3 and it's coming next year. Thank you, all of you, for joining in. Thank you so much. It was a blast. We had a lot of fun. And I hope to hound you guys for more Ironcraft interviews, maybe in Season 3.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, so we are going to sign off now. That's it for the finale. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. And I will see you next year with Season 3. See ya.
Bye.